The launch of the red pill was historic. News anchors praised it, doctors endorsed it, influencers worshipped it. It promised clarity of mind, emotional balance, and pure truth. People lined up outside pharmacies like it was salvation. Ethan Cole watched his city, New York, swallow hope one pill at a time, but he noticed something no one else did after taking it. People changed. His best friend Mark stopped laughing, stopped questioning, stopped caring. His girl friend Emma, once full of fire, became calm, obedient, disturbingly agreeable. Eyes empty, voice steady, like she was reading from a script. Ethan refused the pill, and soon that decision marked him as defective. Billboards flashed. A clear mind is a loyal mind. Police began random checks. Red pill compliance rose rapidly, and those who resisted vanished quietly. Ethan watched a nation lose its soul without even fighting. He realized the truth. The red pill didn't open minds, it wiped them clean. And now he was the last one thinking freely in a city of perfect, tranquil ghosts. America turned into a surveillance zone overnight. Ethan's face appeared on street corner, screens labeled non-compliant, approach with caution. His bank account froze. His home smart, lock refused to open. His own neighbor whispered into a government hotline, reporting unmedicated activity. Drones hovered above the streets like silent hunters. Ethan escaped through subway tunnels, riding freight trains to Chicago, where rumors said rebels lived off-grid. When he arrived, he found them the unplugged. They lived in abandoned factories, traded information like currency, and believed the red pill was a nationwide obedience program disguised as enlightenment. Some were veterans, some scientists, some teenagers who swallowed counterfeit pills just to avoid capture. They welcomed Ethan like a missing piece because he had something most had lost, a clear mind. He learned of Sara Blake, a former lab researcher, who vanished after uncovering the pill's secret chemical triggers. Ethan met her in a candlelit basement filled with stolen files. She told him the truth with shaking hands. The red pill wasn't designed to reveal reality. It was a mental override, a switch, and someone powerful planned to flip it for the entire world. Life among the unplugged was not heroic. It was desperate. Food was scarce, power grid access dangerous, and trust was a luxury. Ethan quickly learned rebels were fractured by fear. Some wanted to fight openly. Others planned to flee the country. Some whispered of surrendering just to feel safe again. At night, people woke screaming, paranoid, afraid of being tracked. Sara Blake was different, calm, but burning inside. She told Ethan about her time working for Apex Biotech, the corporation behind the red pill. She revealed encrypted research notes showing the pill altered brainwaves, allowing thought patterns to be remotely tuned. Not mind reading, mind programming. Worse, a device existed that could amplify control across entire regions using cellular towers. Version 2.0, already completed, needed only government authorization to activate. Ethan felt his stomach tighten as Sara revealed that the United States was merely the test subject. The global rollout was next. The rebels needed proof, so they planned to infiltrate a vault holding distribution contracts, synchronized release dates, and neural frequency maps. If they failed, humanity would lose the concept of disagreement forever. Freedom wouldn't die in war. It would disappear quietly, smiling. Ethan and Sara traveled to Washington, D.C., under new identities, blending into crowds of calm, smiling citizens who moved like synchronized gears. The city was unnervingly quiet, no arguments, no protests, no laughter. Families walked with identical posture. Workers marched in perfect rhythm. Every face carried a peaceful emptiness, that made Ethan's skin crawl. News broadcasts repeated the same phrase, "Unity is clarity, clarity is truth." They watched politicians deliver speeches with identical tone, identical words, identical smiles. The government wasn't guiding the nation, it was puppeteering it. Deep inside a restricted district, they found a militarized compound guarded by drones. Sara believed this was where version 2.0 would be deployed. Inside a hidden corridor beneath the Capitol, alarms whispered rather than screamed, perfectly polite. They entered a chamber lined with screens showing real-time brainwave statistics of the population. Red pill compliance 98.4%. Ethan felt his own heartbeat like a warning siren. Sara's voice cracked as she whispered that if control reached 100%, free thought could vanish permanently. No resistance, no rebellion, no choice, just obedient silence across the entire country. Freedom was down to its final heartbeat. They penetrated deeper into the facility and discovered something unimaginable: the broadcast room. A circular chamber filled with humming consoles and glowing neural frequency amplifiers. It could rewrite emotion, impulse, memory across millions of brains like software updates. To shut it down, they needed activation codes. Those codes were stored inside the NSA, buried behind biometric firewalls, and guarded by agents fully dosed on the pill. When Ethan and Sara reached the facility disguised as technicians, they were confronted by Dr. Monroe, Sara's old colleague. His eyes were washed of humanity, voice eerily calm. He recited Apex's hidden slogan, "Truth was never the goal, silence was." He offered Sara one chance: take the pill, join peace, stop fighting chaos. She refused with shaking hands. Security closed in. Ethan grabbed the hard drive containing the override codes, while Sara hacked firewall barriers through trembling breaths. They barely escaped through maintenance shafts, alarms flashing silently in their wake. Ethan realized something terrifying: the system responded without anger, without urgency, just efficient precision. Machines didn't panic, and America was becoming machine-minded. Sara decoded the hard drive inside an abandoned radio station, fingers trembling as she built a counter-signal, something that could disrupt red pill influence. Ethan helped power the transmitter using stolen generators. When they broadcasted the signal across multiple states, the reaction was instant and violent. Workers collapsed mid-speech. Students screamed and ripped ID badges off their uniforms. Soldiers dropped weapons, confused and shaking. America woke up in fragments, panic spreading like wildfire. Highways jammed. Superstores became riot zones. Cities once peaceful, under control, now boiled with chaos. Government networks labeled the rebels as terrorists attempting to collapse national order. Ethan became the face of defiance, the man who refused the pill. Some praised him as a savior, others demanded his execution for destroying peace. Sara looked at the riot footage with horror, realizing freedom wasn't calm. It was messy, loud, unpredictable. But it was real. They bought time, but not victory. Apex Biotech activated containment troops to re-dose civilians. Ethan and Sara had one final option: destroy the broadcast room entirely, not disable it, erase it from existence. Digging deeper into Apex files, Ethan uncovered the founding blueprint of the Red Pill program. It began after years of political division, riots, and collapsing trust in government. Leaders decided democracy was too unstable. People questioned too much, disagreed too loudly. Freedom complicated control. So a solution was engineered: one shared mindset, no conflict, no rebellion, controlled unity. The red pill was sold as enlightenment, but it was a cage made of comfort. International orders for mass distribution were already placed, cargo ships loaded, air routes cleared. Soon, the world would swallow obedience voluntarily. Ethan felt rage ignite inside him, not because the government lied, but because citizens eagerly handed them power. They traded freedom for ease, truth for peace, thought for silence. The only way to stop global submission was to permanently destroy the broadcast room. But security tightened every hour. Drone patrols doubled. Signal dampeners jammed rebel communication. Sara looked Ethan in the eyes and said there was no turning back now. Either they saved free will, or watched humanity surrender its soul. The final assault began at dawn. Ethan and a small rebel strike team infiltrated the underground broadcast room through a forgotten sewer line. Gunfire echoed. Controlled soldiers moved with cold precision, unfazed by pain. Ethan fought through them, bleeding, breath ragged, every step fueled by defiance. Sara uploaded the counter signal into the global broadcast drive, but it needed manual activation from the core terminal. Ethan sprinted through sparks and smoke to reach it. The control panel glowed like a beating heart. One button marked global release. One push could free billions, or kill him instantly. He looked at the monitor's America filled with chaos, fear, raw emotion. It wasn't perfect, but it was alive. He slammed his hand down on the button. A shockwave burst through satellites, light brighter than sunrise. Across the world, minds shattered open like glass breaking underwater. People gasped, cried, screamed, remembered themselves again. Freedom returned with pain. Ethan collapsed. Sara held him as alarms died, and silence filled the chamber. Not programmed silence, but human stillness. Later, news spread that Apex facilities were raided, but in a dark warehouse, workers quietly assembled new pills. Version 3. Stronger, smarter, the war for truth didn't end. It was only beginning.